I'm sitting here with Jackson Simmons. Jackson, why do you think student athletes should not be paid?
I think they shouldn't be paid because, for one, you have Power 5 and you have non-Power 5. And I think for Power 5, it'd be easier to distinguish the excess amount of money that you could give to a student athlete. But with non-Power 5, I think that there would be such a gap. Some schools aren't able to fund as much as Power 5, and then some are just trying to get enough to get a scholarship. So that's the one issue with that. I think too, there's not really a clear-cut way that if you were able to pay, that you would be able to take care of non-revenue sports. So your Olympic sports like baseball, swimming and diving, women's volleyball, tennis, because to them, the general public's not going to recognize them, and it's tough to have a star value by them. And because it's easier with football and basketball, you can distinguish, oh, I know that guy, that's so-and-so. He plays for whoever. And I think when you get to that, there's a lot of issues that could happen with that. And then I think the other argument too is that truly you could say that you are getting paid to go to school to get an education. And there are ways that you can so-called earn money when you're at school by, working camps in the summer, getting your monthly check to pay rent. I mean, some athletes pocket that money and they use it for other stuff. Right. There's so many other ways legally, of course, that you can make money, that the argument is why should someone need an excess amount? And I think it's still such a gray area, especially with all the stuff that's going on now with agents and boosters and just situations where student athletes are getting money, that I think they don't really have all that figured out to where they could legitimately pay student athletes.
Right. Now, you play basketball at one of the highest levels. Could you maybe give some insight on why student athletes should not be paid, since you lived it and were on the inside of it?
Yeah, there's so many other perks that make it seem like we athletes do get paid. I mean, there's complimentary meals that you can go that's approved by your compliance with donors, special guests of the university. You get meal money on certain trips. The service that you're given academically, that it will cost a normal student thousands of dollars. You get it within your scholarship. There's just so many things that when the total value is accumulated, that the argument is that that's them getting paid.
Right.
And I think that is one reason why the argument for not paying athletes in college is very strong, is because of all the other extra benefits, not extra benefits as in someone giving you money off the street, but just the extra benefits that are provided once you do sign a letter of intent and you are on campus, that you are provided to get your degree. I think warrants the amount of somebody getting paid normally.
Right. So saying all that, why do you think athletes still want to receive a benefit and still receive cash or money to pay for all these other things, when what you talked about, y'all get so much free stuff that many other students don't get?
When athletes look at professional athletes, especially on TV or when they're reading magazines or just driving on the road and seeing their billboards up, they're seeing the value of what those athletes are getting, and they understand that for LeBron James, you doing a commercial with Sprite, that he's getting money from that, and it's because of his ability. And college athletes are thinking the exact same thing, that if that's where I'm going to be one day or want to be one day, then why am I not being rewarded for it?
Right.
And I believe that is the reason why there's been such a push lately, is because of that. And as And there's nothing wrong with that because that's their goal one day. That's their end game.
Right.
But at the same time, the ultimate goal in college is to get your education.
Right.
And to put yourself in the position to be presentable and make that marketing decision of being able to be an independent contractor one day.
Right.
And I think that's the cross-up is that money is money.
Right.
But what is not recognized sometimes is the fact that the benefits that you're receiving while you're in school warrant that of money. There's a great balance of money within those benefits.
Right. Jackson, could you maybe talk about, in today's world, why you think there's so much corruption within the NCAA and why the NCAA has such a hard time regulating agents, talking to players, and where money is going? And in today's world, what is really the problem with that, and where should it be going?
I think the biggest issue that the NCAA faces is the fact that they have so many issues on so many fields. And I think it goes from trying to figure out a way to police agents and keep a handle on them. I think that the NCAA is also, they're trying to grow within different areas of sports, keeping enough equality. But then I think at the same time, they got to make money. They're a $1 billion industry that brings in billions each year. And the one issue that I think that really hurts is that if they really want to make a statement, I think that they need to figure out a way to come out and just set a precedent, because a lot of issues that are happening now had happened a long time ago.
Right.
And I think one thing that they struggle with is I think that they don't keep their feet on the ground and know where their feet are at that moment.
Right.
And I think you can't deal with what happened in the past.
Right.
You can only attack with what's going on today. And I don't know what that would be, but until they understand the present situation and have enough to make an example and say this is what we're going to do, I think that they're going to continue to be behind. And if they're behind, I mean, it's only going to the movement with these issues of paying athletes and wanting to do away with agents or police agents, so to speak.
Right.
I think they're going to continue to struggle with that.
Right.
And I think what you got to start with is I think you got to take the bull by the horn and just figure out a way to police agents and to make sure that they are abiding by the rules, because that's where they're starting. It's starting at a young age.
Right.
And I don't think that you need to. There's no reason to take away a travel basketball, because that's where the best players play. That's how you grow, and that's how you get exposed.
Right.
And I think that there needs to be some harsh results for involvement at any level with money being at that level. Right. Because, that's a lot of kids, their dreams are to be professional athletes because they can take care of their family. Right. And if a kid at 18 years old sees that, they're liable to take it, because it's not told to them that could ruin your eligibility. Right. Even though it is stated, there's not, agents don't abide by that. Right. They get a slap on the wrist. So I think it's not more or less the individual players and parents that need to be educated more. I think that if an agent crosses that boundary, or somebody who has ties to an agent, that they should be severely punished for that. Right. And I think that that's where it needs to be, where it needs to start.
Right. I think everyone would like to see the NCAA more consistent with their rulings. I feel like in some circumstances they're up here and they punish people a lot harsher than they should for something that is not that big of a deal in the
Right.
grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And then also they don't punish people enough. So I think
Yeah.
everyone would like to see more consistency and an actual rule of what should happen if you were to break these rules of
Yeah.
paying players through agents or anything
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
So I just want to say thank you for doing this interview, and best of luck for in the future.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks again.
Thank you.